Maya Dawson grew up around rockets, though she wasn't supposed to. Her earliest memories were of wandering the quiet, echoing corridors of Novatech's headquarters after hours, clutching her father's calloused hand as he cleaned offices. No one ever saw. Her father, David Dawson, had worked at Novatech for nearly 2 decades, not as an engineer, not as a scientist, but as a janitor. To him, it was an honest job. To Maya, it was a window into another world. Asterisk, while most kids her age were watching cartoons, Maya watched rocket launches. While others played video games, she traced flow diagrams and memorized Newton's laws. She would ask her father to let her come to work on weekends, just so she could sit quietly in an unused conference room, surrounded by discarded blueprints and whiteboard sketches that she would study like sacred texts. Asterisk, from a very young age, she knew she wasn't like the others. She didn't just love rockets, she understood them. Numbers danced in her head. Like music, equations soothed her when nothing else could. But despite her gift, Maya's path was invisible. Her family couldn't afford expensive STEM camps or private tutoring. She didn't attend a fancy school or have a mentor from the tech world. She was just the janitor's daughter, and no one ever asked what she was capable of. Asterisk, by the time she turned 19, Maya had become a silent fixture at Novatech. Most of the engineers knew her as the quiet girl who followed the janitor around with a dustpan. Some dismissed her with a smirk. Others ignored her completely. A few were kind but patronizing, offering her used coffee cups as though they were granting her purpose. Asterisk, one man, Dr. Arnold West, had once found her looking at a whiteboard in a restricted hallway and chuckled. "Don't hurt your brain trying. To figure that out," he said, "takes a few years at MIT to even grasp the basics." He hadn't meant it cruelly, just honestly. But the sting stayed with her for weeks. Asterisk still, Maya kept watching. She absorbed everything. She memorized propulsion equations and engine cycle differences like other teens memorized song lyrics. And every night, after she got home, she'd sit on the floor of her tiny bedroom and redraw engine schematics from memory. She didn't just dream of working on rockets, she was preparing for it. Asterisk, Novatech had recently begun testing a new engine, the Phoenix 12, a compact, reusable rocket engine with a cutting-edge cooling system. If successful, it could revolutionize private space travel. But there was a problem. Every test ended the same way. Overheating, system failure, emergency shutdown. Asterisk, the company's top engineers, many with Ivy League pedigrees, were stumped. They tried tweaking the fuel mix. They altered the turbine blade geometry. They ran simulations late into the night. But the result was always the same. The engine would fire up, burn hot for a few seconds, then redline and crash. Asterisk, everyone was tense. Whispers of delays and cost overruns echoed in the halls. The pressure was immense. Each failed test cost hundreds of thousands of dollars, and each delay threatened to kill investor confidence. Asterisk, Maya listened. She listened when the scientists talked in the halls, when they complained in the break room, when they barked orders across the test floor. She absorbed their language, their frustration, their blind spots, and she saw something they didn't. One Thursday night, well past 10 p.m., the building was nearly empty. Maya was helping her father clean Lab Corridor 4, where the Phoenix 12 team worked. As usual, she lingered at the doorway of the main test bay, drawn by the soft hum of machines and the eerie glow of monitors still left on. Asterisk, one screen showed the latest thermal scan of the engine during its final test. The heat signature danced like fire across the core. But Maya noticed something subtle, something overlooked. The heat was pooling unnaturally around the lower left quadrant of the injector plate, exactly where a secondary flow regulator was meant to disperse coolant evenly. but the flow lines didn't match. She blinked. That couldn't be right. Asterisk curious, she tiptoed into the lab. She wasn't supposed to be there technically. She could get her father fired for even looking at the monitors. But something urged her on. She found the full schematic of the engine on a tablet left on the table. She zoomed in, tracing the coolant flow routes with her finger. One valve seemed off, just slightly misaligned from the expected curvature of the nozzle chamber. It was such a minor detail that most people wouldn't have noticed. But Maya did. She felt her chest tighten. If that valve was too tight, it could reduce coolant flow by just enough to create thermal imbalance, just enough to cause the exact kind of failure they kept seeing. The math ran through her mind like lightning. She didn't need a calculator. She was sure. Asterisk, her hands trembled. What could she do? Walk into a lab meeting and declare she'd found the flaw? They'd laugh her out of the building if they didn't have her escorted out entirely. Asterisk, she looked around. A sticky notepad sat on the corner of the desk. She grabbed it and scribbled. Asterisk greater than check the angular alignment of the left secondary. Flow valve. Coolant velocity inconsistent with thermal mapping. Suggest 2.6 degree adjustment to match expected dispersal symmetry. May solve thermal pooling. Asterisk, no name, no signature. She folded the note and slipped it under the main monitor. Asterisk, then. She left. Asterisk, the next morning, Maya returned as usual. She wore her Novatech-issued cleaning uniform, tied her hair back, and followed her dad down the same halls. But something was different. Lab 4 was buzzing. She overheard Dr. West talking loudly to another engineer. "Did you write this?" he demanded, holding up the sticky note. Asterisk. "No, I thought it was yours." Asterisk, well, someone's got jokes. But look at this, it lines up with the data from test 17. I ran the numbers. It's not dumb. It's actually pretty smart. Asterisk, another voice cut in. Should we try it? Asterisk, hell, Dr. West said. We've tried everything else. Asterisk, Maya pretended to mop a corner of the hallway while her heart thundered in her chest. She didn't look up, didn't speak, just kept moving the mop across a floor that suddenly felt like the edge of something much, much bigger. They had noticed. They were listening. Asterisk and Maya, just the janitor's daughter, had given them something they couldn't ignore. The lab was packed by 9 a.m. Asterisk. Normally, only a handful of engineers arrived that early, but word had spread fast. Something had changed. The sticky note was still pinned to the whiteboard in Lab 4. Someone had even highlighted the words 2.6 degree adjustment. The mystery behind who had written it only made things more intense. Asterisk, Dr. Arnold West, Novatech's head propulsion engineer, stood at the center, holding a digital tablet filled with revised thermal equations. It shouldn't work, he muttered, half to himself. But it might. His tone was caught between skepticism and reluctant hope. Asterisk, the team was exhausted. They had failed 31 consecutive engine tests. They were weeks behind schedule. Funding reports had started including words like probation and contingency. The board of directors had even postponed their visit, an ominous sign in the world of cutting-edge aerospace. Asterisk, but no, here was this note. No name, no credentials, just raw logic. And it was sound. Asterisk, that afternoon, the team made the change, just a tiny rotation to the left side coolant valve, barely noticeable from a design standpoint. They realigned the surrounding flow system to compensate for the angle shift and ran a quick calibration. Asterisk, Maya watched it all unfold from behind the cleaning cart parked just outside the observation deck. She tried not to look obvious. She scrubbed the same spotless patch of floor for nearly 20 minutes, heart pounding, ears locked on every word from inside the test chamber. Asterisk at 3:37 p.m., the countdown began. Asterisk, fuel system green. Asterisk, engine mount locked. Asterisk, cooling system ... adjusted. Asterisk, firing in 3, 2, 1. The lab trembled. A burst of blue-white flame erupted from the Phoenix 12's nozzle. It stabilized, then held. No overheating. No shutdown alarms. Just a clean, steady burn. The test timer passed 10 seconds. 15. 20. Engineers leaned in closer. Asterisk 30 seconds. Still perfect. Asterisk cheers erupted around the lab. Scientists hugged. One of the interns cried. Dr. West threw his hands into the air like a football coach after a last-minute touchdown. Asterisk Maya stepped back. Silently. Asterisk they had done it. She had done it. And no one knew. Or so she thought. Later that evening, as most of the team trickled out for celebratory drinks, Maya stayed behind with her father to clean the main testing floor. Her cart squeaked as she pushed it down the long corridor of Lab 4, keeping her head down like always. Asterisk, but this time, Dr. West didn't walk past her. He stopped. "Hey," he said, squinting at her. "You've been here every night this week, haven't you?" Asterisk Maya froze. "Yes, sir." Asterisk he tilted his head. "You always stare at the data screens, even when you're mopping. I've seen you." Asterisk Maya said nothing. Her hands tightened on the cart handle. Asterisk Dr. West reached into his coat pocket and pulled out the sticky note. "You didn't write this, did you?" Her face gave it away before her mouth could. His eyes widened. Asterisk, "My God," he whispered, almost to himself. "You saw it. You saw the flaw." Asterisk, "I'm sorry," Maya said quickly. "I didn't mean to. I thought it might help. I know I shouldn't have." Asterisk, No, he interrupted. "You should have. You saved the entire project." Asterisk she blinked. "I did?" Asterisk he nodded, slowly. "I checked your numbers. After the test, you were right about everything. The coolant flow, the thermal imbalance, the valve angle. We missed it because we were too deep in. We stopped seeing. But you..." He looked at her differently now, like she was no longer invisible. "You saw it with fresh eyes and better instincts than most of the PhDs in that room." Asterisk Maya didn't know what to say. Her throat felt tight. Asterisk Dr. West stared at her for a few more seconds, and pulled out his phone. "Wait here." Asterisk he disappeared down the hall. 10 minutes later, he returned with Dr. Evelyn Keller, Novatech's Director of Engineering. Keller was known for being brilliant, sharp, and nearly impossible to impress. Asterisk, "This is her?" Dr. Keller asked. Asterisk Dr. West nodded. "The mystery note?" "She wrote it." Asterisk Keller's brow furrowed as she stepped closer. "How old are you?" 19, Maya replied. "You a student?" Asterisk, "No, ma'am." Asterisk, "Then how in the hell did you identify a failure mode that evaded 2 MIT grads and a NASA retiree?" Asterisk Maya hesitated. I like rockets." Asterisk Dr. Keller blinked. Then she did something unexpected. She smiled. Asterisk, "I like rockets too," she said. "And I like people who can solve impossible problems. Starting Monday, you're no longer just the janitor's daughter. You're coming on board as a technical apprentice. Paid." Asterisk Maya's eyes widened. "Are you serious?" Asterisk, "As a rocket malfunction at 40,000 feet, Keller said." Asterisk Maya looked at her father, who had been watching from down the hall. His eyes welled up with tears, not because he was sad, but because he had always known she was capable of more. Now the world knew too. Within 3 months, Maya had her own desk at Novatech. A real desk, with her name on a plaque. Maya Dawson, engineering apprentice. Asterisk, she wasn't treated like a mascot or a charity case. She was treated like a mind sharp, focused, indispensable. She contributed to the final tweaks of the Phoenix 12, and when it launched successfully, 5 months later from Cape Canaveral, her name was listed on the official project credits. Asterisk, not as a janitor, not as a helper, but as a propulsion contributor. Asterisk, the launch was streamed live across the world. Maya watched it from the Novatech observation room, surrounded by the same engineers who had once laughed when she peeked at their diagrams. Now they nodded to her, took her advice, asked her questions. Asterisk, she was no longer the janitor's daughter. She was Maya Dawson, engineer. The media caught wind of her story not long after. From mop to mission control, one headline. Read. Another called her the girl who out-engineered the experts. Novatech did interviews. She was invited to speak at schools. Scholarships followed. Offers rolled in. But Maya never forgot where she came from. She still helped her dad clean up on Fridays, not because she had to, but because she wanted to. Because those hallways raised her. Because those floors held her dreams. And because every time she mopped a corner of Lab 4, she remembered the moment she stopped being invisible. Asterisk, and when people laughed now, when they scoffed or doubted, she didn't flinch. Asterisk, she remembered the engine that wouldn't fly. Until she made it soar.